Hello, folks, and welcome Thursday Night Live. My co-host Ellen DeGeneres tonight. She's got the dance moves to go with it too. And I love the beard, Ellen. You look fantastic. You look
Thanks. Thank you so much. You got to stop the music when I sit, though. You guys got to work on your production a little bit. It's when I sit. So
got to get that figured out. I apologize. It's hard to find good production help. Let me tell you.
Don't you know it?
I know.
But at least your production help is handsome.
Wow. Yeah. Something
I'd say carrying the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Folks, welcome Thursday night with your boy Soaring Profits. Kind of a unique night tonight. These are these sort of milestones that for us as sort of content creators, YouTubers, whatever the hell you guys want to call us at the end of the day, we hit another milestone. Today, we broke 250,000 views on their Soaring Profits network. These are sort of unique milestones for us. And it's because of you folks. Our audience out there, you folks you've made it interesting for us. You keep us coming back. We love yous all. It's been kind of a wild journey. So we wanted to take tonight and kind of go through that a little bit. And it's a little bit humbling when you start getting into sort of these numbers. Apparently we are in the top 5+% of YouTube content. That's sort of a unique feather in our hat. It's been kind of cool.
I think on that note, we should really talk about the award that we recently won.
Well, what was it?
Oh, you can't see it, unfortunately.
It's so hard to get like production help.
Yeah. Well, I could fix that. So yeah. So right there below me is the Joel Award for Podcast Excellence. It was a shock to me, shock to Pat. We won't go into what category we won, but it was an excellent category, and it was fun by all. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there.
Come back in. But no, folks, in all seriousness, this has been kind of a unique journey. We've had lots of unique experiences. James and I really, from the bottom of our hearts, like we want to thank all of you for kind of coming for the ride with us. Soaring Profits, as the profiteers out there know, started with a guy that hounded me for a very long time to do it. I wanted nothing to do with this. And James, I tip my hat to you, my friend. This has been a really unique journey. As a buddy, I've gotten to know, I've gotten to know more than I probably ever wanted.
I just want to take this moment. So a long time ago, a very young James came to an older Pat and said to him, hey, I think this podcast thing, there's something to it. And we have some magic. I'm good looking. You kind of can talk. I think that if we blend together, we could make something big.
Yeah.
Now we seem to be celebrating accomplishments, new shows, and there's a word I think about that you might want to say to me that I was.
Oh, you
were as the Fonz would say. You were.
Yeah, rah. So this is what dead air in a podcast looks like, eh? No, it's you're absolutely right. It's been a really cool journey. I've gotten an opportunity to talk about, myself, my life, my family, interview truly amazing people. Like that banner across the top, like when we say the Unveiling, the stories of champions, we've had amazing opportunities. When we started off, our first big project was RSI out of Guelph. We got a couple clips. We've done amazing projects. We've traveled around. We're now in a situation where we're kind of international, where we're doing a show that the host is based out of Japan. We just finished up here in Toronto doing a finance piece. The projects continue to roll out for us. It's been a beautiful journey. Dude, I couldn't have asked for anyone better to do it. You are the heart and soul of this. You kick ass every day. I'm proud of you. I appreciate you. And I know the profiteers out there as well. So for me, that's it.
No, you're absolutely right. We say a lot of crap to each other, but we really do like each other deep down inside. And because we do, we can, really enjoy what we're doing here. And it's a passion now. Like at first, maybe for Pat, it wasn't a passion. For me, it was. But now he's on that road because of the great people we're meeting, like Mrs. American, who survived cancer and then became Mrs. American. Like the RSI that you were talking about, and I'm going to show us the clip very soon. That was one of our first projects. We actually knew very little bit of podcast world. Lisa Browning introduced us to McCabe,
McCabe.
Bob McCabe, and he really liked us. He just liked our interview style, and he's like, you know what? I have this project. We're going to fund it, and we want you to be the host. And so we asked this young woman a question. She's a beautiful young woman, on RSI, and RSI was Recovery Speaking Initiative. If you are struggling, especially if you're male, reach out to them, because they are about addiction, about sexual abuse, and it's a lovely. Bob McCabe himself, unfortunately, if you go back to one of our shows, he was abused by a priest, which is very unfortunate, and it turned into this beautiful, beautiful group that supports men mostly. And I think they're looking into doing female support groups. And we had this opportunity. We went down to Guelph. We met these amazing people that were just wild. This is one of them, Wendy, a good friend of mine.
Mine was, I was addicted to making my life appear to be great. I was great. My life is great. You know, I don't have any struggles. I don't have to worry about anything. You know, I'm good on the inside and on the outside. I didn't tell my story for many, many years. And the point of impact was the day I got a phone call from the police that someone else had come forward and named me as a possible victim as well.
Literal tears in my eyes during that while we were trying to do an interview because of what these people went through. But then they talked about how you recover from sexual assault.
Yeah.
And in big ways, these people, one went back to school, university. One is helping others. And like Wendy herself has an award that helps high school students who graduate with money and a book. One was writing a book. And then Bob McCabe himself helps countless people over and over again. In fact, we were at dinner with him after that. After a full day of taping, dinner, he's just sitting down, had ordered his food, got a call from someone that he was helping, and he left. Yep. He just said, I'm sorry. This is more important to me than what I'm doing right now. Yep. And he left. And that's the kind of commitment of the champions that we're talking about. And I just love that.
Yeah, 100%. And I remember when we were offered to come down and help. And that's the only way I can put it, is come down and help. We weren't reinventing the wheel. We were just trying to shine some light on these stories. And I remember when you came to me and pitched it to me, I looked at you like, where do we even begin? Like, we're just a couple guys that are podcasters. We shoot the shit. Like we bring up cool topics, I suppose, but really, like, you want me to dive into somebody's like personal, like darkest moments of their life and get that story and put that out there. And honestly, man, it was such a unique experience to sit across from people that have survived those stories and now thriving and helping people and working in their community and truly being that, you know, unveiling the stories of champions that we talk about. That, as far as us, it's a unique growth process for us as podcasters and interviewers. And like, I don't think we would have been able to do it at another point in our life. Like right now, if you guys came to us and said, hey, we're going to do an RSI, it would be a very different thing. I think it was the perfect time. It was the right way to go about it. We took it very seriously, but we asked, you know, compassionate questions, informative questions. We tried to let our subjects at the time tell their truth. And that was really unique. And it sort of spun us down this next, you know, bit of trajectory of, hey, this was fun. We enjoyed it. I think that there's something unique here. And I think we did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, from that, because we did such a good job and people were watching it and it got traction, we ended up in this LinkedIn group. Right. And we met the great Sia, the great Raquel, Rock the Boat, Mark Reed, countless, name after name after name, all podcasters in their own right doing great things. Kyle Speaks, who is an amazing revolutionary speaker as far as I'm concerned, helping kids reach their goals before they even know that they need to reach goals.
Yeah.
You know, he's opening those doors for kids that, you know, maybe have one mom, or he understands the human condition of someone who had a mom who was addicted and wasn't there for him.
Yeah.
And he was angry about it as a youth. And he's able to reach in and go, hey, I can help you because I was there. And these are the, like, that's just the stuff I love. But transitioning to that, we've had some fun times too. Like, it wasn't all like Mark Reed himself, like, man from Japan. We've had so much fun with this guy. We made him our scapegoat in the green room, never interviewed him. And it was all accidental. I double booked one day, and I had to, because Mark Reed's a friend and this other person wasn't. So I went, Mark, I'm so sorry. So then it became a running joke that he was never going to be on Soaring Profits. And it just was hilarious. He came on, he some laughs for us. He would make comments on the side.
Well, now we can't get rid of him.
We can't get rid of him. Yeah. So explain how we can't get rid of him.
Well, you came up with this brilliant idea that you wanted to do a game show format. You guys, profiteers out there, you've probably watched it already. The Hot Seat. James came up with this concept game show, gave it to Mark Reed and said, hey, pal, let's sit down. Let's work through the details of this, and let's put a really funny product together. Let's see the clip.
Yeah.
Like, everyone now knows exactly what Soaring Profits is. This show has just made this so transparent. Pat carrying the goddamn load. James,
all of it
off here. Yeah,
he is just one big load, as I like to call it.
There are. All right, every
for one big load.
Yeah. Everybody hold your load. Just
Cheers.
We've got 6.
And that's just it. There is some trivia involved. There's some fun games. Mark is an expert. He draws on these old shows. He draws on some Japan kind of ideas. And meanwhile, we are just riffing it up and not really paying attention and saying things like Pat's a load.
Right. I'm waiting for is it cake? I'm trying to figure out how he's going to do that from Japan. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but like, it'll be like a shoe, and it'll be like a perfect shoe, and you bite it.
Right.
Oh, no, that's a shoe. No, it's a shoe. You idiot. And then the next one comes along and it's cake. Like, it's yeah. Anyways, I'm just trying to figure out how he's going to get that to us. We shipped hot sauce to him.
Yeah.
I think we can get maybe some cake, shoe cake.
I think we get some shoe cake. I think that would be fabulous. But we have so much fun with him. We have some great projects in the works with him. He's just a great guy. Go check him out. He does a lot of short clips where he's talking so full from Japan and these beautiful like landscapes. He talks to monks, and it's just little key wisdoms like what to do when you have to deal with a bully. Unbelievable stuff. But then
that was sort of what I was saying, right? Is that this is a guy who is a trained attorney, right? Like, he's a trained attorney. So this isn't your uncle sitting on the back porch having a cigar, bullshit out his ass. This is a guy who has been in the literal hot seat, put people there, manage these emotional concepts. Mark is brilliant. Like, when you watch his content, and there is not a thing that you can't take from it. And he's got that sort of samurai wisdom about him. It's the art of war, but he does it in this really cool, kind of nonchalant way that it's a little dry. You got to unpack it a bit. He is a funny cat.
And his full-time job is making beautiful paper, which just blows my mind.
But Japanese washi is like an art. Like, I don't know what we would compare it to. Like, if you were making birch bark canoes here in Canada, it's the same sort of thing. It is like such a traditional Canadian custom, Japanese custom that is super niche, super ornate, and a really cool business that his wife, her family was involved in it. He went to Japan because he took a Japanese course in college and fell in love, and the rest is history. But these are the people that we've sort of opened our world up to, right? And as we continue down that path, it's been, like I say, man, I'm giving you a lot of credit. It's been a beautiful journey. It's been a lot of fun. But we've got so many different directions we're going. We're down in California now shooting with Jennifer Burnham Grubbs with the
Wealthwise. I was
Wealthwise.
going to say the amazing Jolene. Wow, that's not great. Jodine is what I was going to say. I call her Jodine. Jody, the great Jody. She has a show called Wish I Had Known.
Right.
And Jennifer was on that show, and I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. We have to have her on Financial Fitness. Well, we had her on twice, and you guys just chemistry at the wazoo. Like, you and I are pretty good, but you two in the financial space, not only are you brilliant, and like you talk on a level that I don't always understand, and people seem to like it. But the charisma and the kind of fun you bring to the show really makes it engaging, even for people like me that don't know anything.
Well, I'm glad, pal, because that's sort of what we're trying to do, and doing these unique opportunities that have sort of come down our pipe is because you've done a great job on the production side, the quality, the videos, the intro, all of these things are what we're continuing working. And you profiteers out there, when you're liking, when you're subscribing, when you're sharing, you give us that oomph to keep going, to continue going down that road, to do the next 250,000 views, to get to the Toronto Humane Society, to get to that live in-person interviews, because we can afford to do it, because the content, James and I don't mind spending money. You know, we go down to Orlando, we do Healthcare Amplified, we get Christy Clark, Mrs. American, we get people from the Lymphoma Leukemia Society, we have our really good friend Sia. Like, we have all of these people that we've put together in these live formats, love doing it. But when you guys are sharing this, when you're telling your friends about this cool podcast, when you see something you like and you send it to your friend, right? That then tells us that we're doing something right, and we keep doing it, and we keep digging, and we want to get better and better and better. We just finished Financial Fitness, had a really cool Sue O'Reilly. You guys will see it in a couple of days when it comes out. You guys are going to have a really unique opportunity to see somebody who's at the top of her business in what she does. And that's what we continue to try to do. But when you help us, we can continue to do amazing content, drive that home so that we get better. You guys get more information, you get better infotainment, and we can keep ratcheting it up. So it's cool.
And that's just it. Like, we've started a Facebook group. It hasn't taken off much right yet, but if
get in there
and being a part of the conversation, come join it. Come check it out. Come look at it. If you look at our LinkedIn, I think, or our Soaring Profits, our website, it should be on there. Come join the conversation. Come help us out. Come build our shows. Come tell us what you want to hear, what you want to do. You know, what kind of people you want to see. But I want to get back to Wealthwise, because I freaking love that show. I have a little clip about it, and I just want you to see the charisma. There's no Pat in this one. It's just Jennifer. And just watch this.
Hi guys, I'm Jennifer Burnham-Grubbs. You probably know me from all the years I've spent in risk management, which is looking at alts in a completely different way from the stock market and some of the other financial tools we're familiar with. And if you're tired of hearing the same old from all the same pundits when it comes to money, half of it being BS anyway, why don't you join us for Wealthwise next Thursday at 11, where Patrick and I will give you real conversation from multiple perspectives around critical thinking when it comes to your money, so you can make smarter moves, grow it faster, keep it longer, and make it work for you.
Incredible. And then you put Pat beside her, and he has a conveniently placed bag. I got him to wear it. It's got the holes and everything so he can breathe. It's safe, very safe. But no, and the charisma just leaps off the screen. They have these amazing talks. We're about to film another one next week, and I anticipate it's going to be amazing. What you guys have kind of come up with a topic for the next one?
Not yet. I think we're sort of trying to get it as close to as possible, and that's one of the things that we're learning as we go through this process. There is no book on this. Like, when you think back to podcasting and what this video podcasting especially. So podcasting has been a thing. We had Glenn the Geek on, cowboy out of Ocala, Florida.
Oh yeah, of course, radio.
Cool dude. He's like the grandfather of podcasting. Like, he's one of the OGs. When we were down in Orlando, Florida, met him down there, had a great time with him, partied a little bit with him, enjoyed ourselves. Booked him for the show a couple months later. This is a busy guy. This guy just sold his podcast network for a lovely $1, did a great job. But he's 18 years in the business. Okay, so podcasting, he doesn't do video. So there's all kinds of technology. There's all sorts of things. Video podcasting in the format that we've done here. And again, I tip my hat, pal. You've done a great job in putting these formats together. Everything always looks, nice and clean and crisp. Dude, I would have... Well,
we have to tip our hat a little bit to our other production team there too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Montana, she's fantastic. She jumps in here. She cleans up all your bullshit when you do a logo and you go, oh, I don't know about that one. So yeah, credit where credit is due. Absolutely. Montana's a huge part of this. She's fantastic. beautiful, talented female. And again, we tend to surround ourselves for some reason with these just incredibly brilliant, beautiful, talented women. I don't know why it happens.
Well, so for me, we were just talking about it on the show. When you guys tune in Tuesday to Financial Fitness, it's a big part of it is that Pat is a big promoter of female entrepreneurs, female in the business space, female in the economic space. And Sue O'Reilly kind of talks about it, that she is molding a group through the Positive Point group on Meetup, where she's molding, helping, assisting, teaching.
Yeah.
And she says they're the ones that ask the brilliant questions. They're the insightful ones. They're the ones that are outpacing everyone else. And the fact that you are always looking for that, and I think you have a unique perspective. You talked about it a little bit on Financial Fitness, but why is it that you're trying to promote the women in the financial space?
Well, it all goes back to this next generation. And you guys all know my story. My daughter just had her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, hun, if you're watching out there tonight. If not, you should probably be in bed. You have work in the morning. But so I grew up having a fantastic leader in my father. And the entrepreneur, multi-time, was kind of a mover and a shaker like you did, right? Like he enjoyed the art of a deal, to quote a fantastic book, if you get a chance, right? But at the time, it wasn't so accepted, women in certain spaces in finance. And all of the things that I talk about are these sort of behind the curtain finance pieces, right? Like when you're talking about technical analysis, you're doing chart analysis. It was really high level mathematics. You're looking at Fibonacci retracements. You're looking at all these sorts of things that are, it's algebra. It's high level algebra. At the time, there wasn't a whole lot of space for that. And it was sort of, that's STEM. That's the boys. They go do STEM. And I'm not saying, 90s and 2000s. I'm talking about 60s, 70s, 80s, right?
Cool. Yeah.
So now when I have a daughter that's growing up, I said this to Sue. Sue's fantastic. You guys are all going to get to meet Sue here shortly. But I said to Sue, I want my daughter to be the shark in the room. I don't want her to be the guppy. And I don't want society to come in and dictate that she is lesser than, she doesn't have an opportunity because what she has between her legs. And to me, that is so important that we really foster that environment where STEM in the female entrepreneurship space has a place to run, has a place to leap. And for me, she's going to change my diapers at some point, so she better make a lot of money. So that's
it's so true. And Sue O'Reilly, so she started this Positive Point. She also has done some other things that you'll learn if you go watch Financial Fitness. But very soon, in September, she's going to be a keynote speaker on the Money Show, which is a huge economic summit in Toronto. Yeah. So we're talking, because of the likes, shares, subscribes, the viewer hours, we're able to find these people. We're able to get that bigger reach of people who want to work. Now people are finding us. Yep. If you're out there and you want to be on our show, come talk to us. Tell us who you are, a little bit about who you are, and we'll happily work with you. That's our whole gig. Right now, we're getting into the on-site space, which I am super excited about. We've done a couple already. We broke it with RSI. Fortunately, RSI, we had a whole production team. We had sound, lighting. There were people all around. I was kind of intimidated when I walked in the room. It was scary. But then we tried to do it ourselves. The first one, if you go back to Healthcare Amplified, that was our very first. A little trouble with sound, a little trouble with camera angles and stuff like that. Now we got Humane Society, locked it in a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit nicer camera, a little bit better audio. And the next one's going to be even bigger. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to grow because we see what you guys like and we want to go in that direction. Last week. Go ahead.
Sorry for cutting you off, because again, the Humane Society, when you get an opportunity to walk into an organization on their turf and sit down and chat with 6 or 7 people from their staff, you have to remember where we were. You guys, you've heard a little bit about it. They were lined up around city blocks on an open house day when we filmed this. This was
Sunday. It was a Sunday.
It was a Sunday. All the staff comes in. It is utter chaos everywhere else. And we had this serene, tranquil working environment. Everyone is so excited about what they do and passionate about telling us the space that they're in and why it's so important for every one of them hit the nail on the head of their mission statement. And I'm like, where else does this happen? Like, I've never been a part of any organization that is in that lockstep. And it really sprung an idea for us is to be able to do that. So you have the Toronto Humane Society. And these are some things that we're working through as this content all rolls out is, hey, you're having a black tie event. You're having a golf tournament. You're having a this or you're having a that. We'll come. We'll set up. You got some big money earners that are donators that are you're trying to schmooze. You have a couple guys that are doing live content interviews. They get 250,000 views. You're in. They're going to make your organization very different. Lymphoma and Leukemia Society. We had our interview with them a few weeks ago. Really amazing interview. Had them down in Orlando. Just had a partner of them with a cancer advocate lawyer for financial fitness that just came out this week. You guys, I'm sure you saw it. But these relationships build and grow. But that's what we're wanting to build into. We're wanting to build into these in-person interviews where we can go to location, where we can figure out how to showcase amazing people, again, unveiling the stories of champions, but doing it in a way that benefits your organization, benefits the people that are around you, puts your best foot forward. And now we're getting to that level where we have an audience. People want to sort of tune in and hear what we're saying. 250,000 views on a podcast for a couple guys that haven't spent a lot of money in production and promotion and all that sort of thing. I'm telling you right now, that's a huge milestone. That puts us in the top 5%. And in fact, 24 hours after our shows, if you have over 800 to 1,000 views, that's the top 1%. And that's where we are. We're usually about that, 900 views in a 24-hour period. We usually end up, 1,000 to 1,500 views. We're in that 1% right now. That blows my mind. And looking at those things.
And the fun thing about it is now we have people coming to us and saying, hey, do you want to be an affiliate? Hey, do you want to be that? And the reason we don't have one, and I'm going to be honest here, the reason we don't have one is because we have gone through, we've looked at them, we've done our due diligence, and they just aren't, either they're not a right fit, or we don't agree with their message. Because that's who we are. We're honest, we're true, and we want our profiteers, if we're selling something to our profiteers, we want it to be good. We want it to be something they can use. I don't want to do diet pills because I don't believe in diet pills. Diet pills are bullshit. They don't work and they're useless. Don't
just use Coke like everyone else.
Or maybe run a little exercise wouldn't hurt you. But the beautiful thing about all that is that people are starting to approach us and they're starting to kind of like what we're doing. But you can help us out more by, I feel like I'm on a telethon right now.
Yeah.
This is so weird.
Hang on, where's the dogs with the flies in the eyes?
Where's Jerry Lewis? Shouldn't Jerry be here?
Yeah.
I am just so ecstatic about the stories that we get to tell and the stories we get to unveil and that we get to go to businesses and, Susie at the front desk can tell us about, her kid and, why she's there and why she's excited about the company. And it, like Pat always says, and I may even let him say it, that these guys, no one's knocking down the door. They are like no one.
Well, CNN isn't breaking down the door to tell these stories. You know somebody. I guarantee you right now, somebody. You at home, profiteers, somebody at home that you're like, I love that person to death. They've changed the world in some way. The newspaper's not highlighting them. CNN's not breaking on the door. MSNBC, Trudeau's not coming and giving them an award. We have a whole community of the world out there that is in desperate need of attention and showcasing these really beautiful things. And it's what our mission has been on Soaring Profits. We want to share those stories. We want to pull back the veil of bullshit, pull back the veil of the social media stuff, pull back the veil of the primetime media stuff that is all doom and gloom and just catastrophe after catastrophe. Let's talk to amazing people. Let's talk to a doctor in Brazil who's doing amazing stuff in the forefronts of the favelas down there in the most impoverished places in the world. Let's talk with you know, fantastic women in Thailand that are taking high-level professionals and helping them focus on their relationships and building stronger interpersonal and then extrapersonal relationships. Let's talk with these people. Let's get them on here.
We talked to a nurse that went through COVID,
Right.
and talked about how nurses were laid off without warning, at a time when they needed nurses. Like,
Right.
Not only do we talk about the stories of people, we talk about current events and how they affect everyone's lives. We talk about mental health. We talk about how the importance of that. We even talked to a whole section of people on unhoused people. It talked about their issues. Pat's eyes were opened at one point by one of the stories. You know, the whole thing about if someone who's homeless has a tent, they have their cart, they have all their stuff, and they leave to go apply for a job. They leave to go get food. They leave. Everything is stolen.
Yeah, that was such a unique perspective for me. And the gentleman that we interviewed is basically a street preacher going around and helping these people on the streets. Like he's doing that ground level advocacy work. And in our community, like all communities here in Ontario specifically, but around North America, we have this poverty epidemic, addictions epidemic, mental health epidemic. And when we first started this, it was a tiny homes project in our local community here that was floundering. They had no message. They had no guidance. It was a real problematic scenario. And James and I went in with one thing, and we said to them, your messaging is terrible. You folks are beautiful. You're advocating for all the right things, but you're taking a perspective that if you're not with us, you're evil. That if you don't support that we're going to spend $20 million on 50 tiny homes, then you are a heartless, awful human being. And James and I sat there and we had the leaders of the organization and we got their ear and we said, listen, we want you to come on our show. We want you to tell your story, but we have to work on your messaging. We have to work on the way that you're doing it. And to be honest with you, we're a year and a half removed from that. There's 50 tiny homes in our community. We'll see what the success story is, but they got the budget.
Not that we had anything to do with that. That was all their hard work, and they logged it, and they worked really hard with the city. But yeah, Pat is absolutely right. We had a few meetings where we were like, you have to enlighten people on why they need this. Because right now, all you're doing is giving free handouts to people that no one like.
Right.
And that is literally what the majority of people see, because you're having a nice dinner, you go outside and someone starts yelling at you because you don't give them the right amount of money. Or there's someone like crying on the street and twitching or passed out on the street. You don't know if they're dead. But when you humanize that and you say it's because of their condition, not that they're evil people, that it's about there are neighbors.
Yeah.
There are friends, there are daughters or sons, our fathers, our uncles who have fallen on bad times.
Yeah.
And it could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
That's the message.
Yeah.
And it's an easier message when you say, you know what, that could be your daughter. Imagine your daughter passed out on the street. Wouldn't you want them to have, all we have to do is build a community, and we'll have they said they would have like psychologists there. I don't know, it was social workers, and they'd have security there, and they would make it a safe space for them so they could step forward.
Yeah.
It's simple. I have a house now. I have heat. I have hydro. I switch on a light. It goes. I can go have a hot shower. And the biggest thing, I can lock my door. And the greatest thing, and Pat and I disagree with this, and that's okay. There's no judgment. You can show up most places. So if you go to any of the shelters, you're not allowed to use, right? Can't do drugs. You can't bring pets. There's a lot of rules, and they should have rules. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but in this place, it's not about whether you use or not. It's about, we're going to give you a platform that Pat and I always talk about, and you will either launch from it or you won't. And if you can't launch from it, then you'll have to go back to where you were, because this is for the people who launch from it. And I think it was a beautiful message that I think that message kind of got out more.
Oh, 100%. And I I'm not necessarily advocating that you should have one of these in every community across Ontario, but we'll see what this pilot project sort of looks like and go from there. But I do really believe that we were sort of integral in that messaging that sort of got this across the finish line. Because when we first met with them, they were militant. It was not the right messaging. They were, and I mean this with all due respect, but they were a bunch of leftover hippies, and they were angry people that why didn't we just write a check for $20 million? You're awful because you didn't. And I'm like, you can't say that to people. Like,
you got your point though, because
Right.
we should be helping these people. Everyone should be helping these people. It should be a no-brainer because this is a problem in our community. We should be helping them.
And I don't
not
disagree.
doing other things like building pickleball courts. We should be helping. We should be fixing infrastructure. We should be doing a whole lot of things, right? That was a little shot.
That was a shot. I think you stick your pickleball up your ass there, pal. That's that was a bit of a shot. But no, and again, because we have open dialogue. Like, I don't have to agree with their overarching macro idea, but we can have a really cool conversation, and I can ask questions, and I can give really insightful perspectives. James, the same thing, insightful perspectives. Hey, have you thought of this? Don't alienate 90% of the population if you're trying to get $20 million. Oh, we never thought about that. But like, it's one of those things that when you had a guy who's kind of a financy guy, I'm like, show me the return. Like, what?
Right.
20 million bucks, where's it going to go? Oh, it's going to get homeless people on the street. Show me the return. What's the sell? We can just go, it's the heart, it's the right thing to do. Well, we got to give me some return. And these are the things. We went down, we did Healthcare Amplified. We went down there, met amazing people, healthcare professionals, traveled all over the world. We met a beautiful woman from Africa. She's a social media marketing, brilliant woman.
Yeah.
Alice from Wonderland, a brilliant, lovely, kind, takes the arrow to the room type personality, walks in like she owns a place, which again, female entrepreneurs, I love that. I think that is such a great thing. Amazing woman. And when you see that she flies from Africa to do a thing like Healthcare Amplified, working with these organizations, it's because she's awesome.
Yes.
Right? Like, this is spreading a message that we have here in Canada and the United States. Now it's, Brazil, South America, we've got Asia, Thailand, we've got Africa. Like, the old joke is like, I'm just waiting for the penguins to figure out podcast viewing and we're going to get on all the continents. But that's sort of what we're trying to build out. We had financial fitness out of Scotland. It blows my mind what the last year and 8 months or so, year and 9 months we've been, 250,000 views and growing, right? Like,
and you touched on a key point there that we had a few conditions if we were going to start a podcast. One, we don't like gotcha. We don't want to watch you be mean to someone on our show. We go out of our way. There are times that I'm talking to someone and I highly disagree with them. I will debate a little bit, but I'm not throwing them under a bus, even if I see a light where I could. Yeah. Pat several times, more often than me, because we tend to have more left-leaning people on our show, but there have been some conservatives that I disagree with. But there have been some, Pat could railroad them. Pat could go, I gotcha. But he doesn't. He explores it. He opens up. Well, this is kind of the conservative viewpoint. And I love that because I think we show people we should be, we have conversations about religion where we disagree. We had someone who is very anti-religion on our show and we talked in depth about it. And Pat and I are both religious. We've had political people on their show that we've disagreed with, or I've disagreed with, he's disagreed with, and we've had a really good discussion without being hurtful. And that was like the main idea, that we have gone into a point where if you're a certain type, you can't talk about it. If it's a certain subject, Pat just said it on financial fitness. He was talking about it. We should be talking about money. You can't talk about money. Can't talk about politics. Right now, we should be all talking about politics. We just did a show, which we thought we would get banned for. We're still waiting for that foot to draw. So watch it as quick as you can. It was the Trump-Biden debate, so I am left-leaning. I'm not as left-leaning as the new liberals.
As you used to be.
No, I never have been. I am the middle of the road liberal. I'm not a moderate, but I'm like middle. Pat's deep right wing. I'm kidding. I am joking. He is not. Don't send us hate mail. Holy, don't cancel us. No, but and then we got this opportunity where we could discuss live debate. CNN tried to shut it down. CNN was like, no one can talk about this. No one can show it. Yeah. And we were like, let's see if we can. Now, the debate itself didn't have a lot of meat and potatoes as far as I'm concerned. Like, I appreciate the Democratic Party. If I was American, I would be leaning that way for sure. I think there's a lot of great people under Joe Biden, but I have never thought Joe Biden should be the leader for many, many reasons. He is such a problematic leader that has been in some form of leadership for a long time and has not made successful changes. But the people under him in his presidency have. So that's why I enjoyed it. He kind of proved that more during the debate, which was unsettling because I had nothing really to fight Pat with.
So James, you just summed up why I finally caved on doing the Soaring Profits podcast when we first started. And it's because of the Joe Biden debate last week. And you're like, how does that come full circle? So 2 years ago, when we first started this, I could see the writing on the wall with mainstream media. They were so full of shit. Like their eyes were brown, their mouth was full, it's coming out their ears, they're just covered in it. And I'm like, there's going to be a threshold where it breaks, right? And I think the debate, when we covered it, that was it. If you think that the mainstream media, who has been Joe Biden, great president, Bidenomics, everything is hunky-dory, greatest economy we've ever had, everything's great. We're in 3 global conflicts. We are in economic catastrophe at any moment. We're propped up in this really artificially stimulated market, inflate, all these things, right? And then he comes off across the stage and my mother, God bless her, she was a 34-year registered nurse. Yeah. And we watched it and she said, I thought like he is a stroke patient. All of the signs and symptoms is that he is a stroke patient. There is a clear problem. And my mother and I have had very lively discussions because she hates Donald Trump, hates him, loathes him. Right. And I said to her exactly what I'm saying to you people out here today. I don't care if you like Trump. I don't care if you like Biden. I don't care where you land politically. But the reason why Soaring Profits became a real thing for me is because the mainstream media is broken. And if you're getting your information from CNN or MSNBC and that's as you play it in the background. I think there's better. I think Soaring Profits is a good place to start. Pardon the pitch. But when you folks watch that, all of the CNN contributors for 2 weeks before, Biden's the best Biden we've ever seen. He's strong. He's with it. He's in Europe. He fell down. He's lost. Obama's walking him off the stage. They've lied to everybody for years. And you can go back as far in that as you want to go. But that was the break of mainstream media. And for me, I saw it when Trump broke them the first election.
Well, part of that is Fox also has Trumpitis. Like they will, no matter what Trump says, they spin it in a magical way that, he didn't say that. I firmly believe, and I've said this from the beginning, if the CNN didn't clip it in such a way, because I'm that guy, I want to see the whole picture at all times. Yeah. And Trump says the stupidest ass things. He's an idiot. He's a narcissistic, and he doesn't have good policies. And I don't think he would make a good leader for those reasons. He's about money. He's about taking care of him and himself. Even though he says he's draining the swamp, I don't give a shit. He's making money because he was president. But anyway,
funny how when you're just like, oh my God, we're so fucked. And now it's like
CNN was taking clips and shorting them and pretending that Trump said something that he didn't,
right?
Which gave the the strength, because they would be like, watch the whole clip. He didn't even say that. He didn't say anything like it. You're lying. And it proved over and over that CNN was lying. But Fox News did the same thing and is doing the same thing again and again and again. They've gotten into this shock, which is what Soaring Profits is not about. They want that quick. We have a 24-hour news cycle. We need you to watch. So they clip things in such a way that it's saying things that aren't actually being said, and it's an atrocity. And I am just appalled. And even now, what they've done to Joe Biden is sickening. They went up until the debate. You should see him behind the scenes. You should see he's amazing. He's so sharp. He's making deals. He's doing everything. He didn't even leave the stage alone.
Under his own power.
Yeah. And they were throwing him under a bus.
That
Saying
like
that he needs to be replaced. That apparently he had a stroke on stage, because just before he walked on stage, he was the brightest, sharpest tool on the set.
But that's the point. So now, so you have to go back, and it goes to why we started Soaring Profits. The mainstream media is absolute horseshit.
Okay.
You cannot trust what you're being told. So do your research.
Yes.
Like, take some time out of your day, be an informed, be an active citizen. My daughter right now, she's doing summer school to get an extra course credit for civics and careers. We wrote an essay the other night, and it was about active citizenry. And I'm like, honey, you know more about this than anyone in the world because you listen to this stupid show called Soaring Profits. We talk about this all the time.
Right.
You know the 3 levels of the government. You talk about voting. We talk about this sort of thing, right? And this is what I'm saying. Share this with your family members. Share this with your kids. We make it fun. We have lots of excitement. We're both a bunch of assholes. Like, we keep it fun and interesting. But that's my point. The mainstream media is broken. And Trump, I do believe, broke them. I really do believe that. But I wonder how far back we go. Like, do we go back? Do we go back to Kennedy? Do we go back to, like, how far does it go back that they're so full of shit? Like, I know Vietnam, like, it's pretty easy to go back that far. But, like, at what point do we go? It's so broken. And that's why podcasts have taken off. And it's why I've come full circle in this discussion as to why I said okay to Soaring Profits. Because I really, truly, I believe that these independent media sources like us, like Soaring Profits Media, like, you don't like or love Joe Rogan, like, pick your guy, whoever you want that you like to follow, listen to them, then pick an opposing ideology and listen to them, weigh them. Both of them are going to be bullshit. Both of them are going to be right. But when you're only getting this mainstream media talking head bullshit, 24-hour news cycle, it's broken.
It's totally true. I don't think YouTube knows what my analytics are, because anytime something comes up, I look at both sides.
Yeah.
I look at the twins. What are they called? I can't even remember their names, but the
Hodge twins.
The Hodge twins. I watch them. They're right. Hodge twins. I watch Shapiro. I watch all those guys. But then I also watch the other side, and I watch those shows, and you can watch CNN and garner information.
Sure.
But if you're just eating it from that one source, you're being lied to. And I'm sorry. It's a terrible atrocity, and they're doing it. And I remember when I was a kid, I wasn't a kid, I was older, but let's say a kid. And they started the 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
And it just became a magazine. It became bullshit. They would follow these court cases that I could never care about. And they'd show, like, oh, she scratched her nose. That means that she's guilty. And let's look at it at a different angle, Frank. Do we have that at a different angle? Look, she's scratching her nose. Yeah. It was the most ridiculous bullshit I ever watched.
But okay, so you have that, and then you have Trump, who's on trial for all these cases, but we can't get a fucking camera in the audience.
Right.
Like, hang on a second. We are going to cover it like a dirty shirt, but we better not. We can't have a camera in there, because if something comes out that we don't want shown, we got to be able to spin it in 5 hours. And that's what broke this week. Doesn't matter where you land politically. I swear to God, it does not matter where you land politically. The media broke this week. They showed their hand. They showed their horseshit. And it's why Soaring Profits. It's why podcasters. It's why independent media organizations are so important. Like, subscribe, and share. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family members. Amazing.
Comment. Tell us what you want from us. Tell us, if you have people that you think would be great for our show, please send it to us right down below us, www.soaringprofits.com. It has all our shows. It has our friends' shows because we have a lot of great friends that do some amazing shows, like Sia from Brightbeam Media,
Brilliant.
Raquel,
One day she'll be able
Raquel Flores. I think she changed the name of her show. It used to be the Connection Corner, but I think she has a brand new name for it. Jodine, who has I Wish I Had Known. Now Jennifer, who has Wealthwise, great show. The producer is freaking amazing. Handsome. Really good editing. Smart. Handsome. Going to Portugal soon, maybe.
There you go.
So, anyway, so please help us out. You help us out by liking, you help us out by sharing this with your friends. You also help us out by giving us, telling us what you want to know. Yep. We are not afraid of anything. So if you disagree with us today, if we made a comment, you disagree with it, I want to hear it in our comments. Tell us why we're assholes. I'm in. I'm telling you right now, we'll respond. I do respond. Unless it's like we had one, what was we're all going to hell and we should repent. Wasn't that the last comment?
That was just to you.
It was just a terrible, it was a terrible comment. I'm sorry that it happened, but real comments with real discussions. That Patrick guy, he always says mean things to me. I don't understand. That's so weird. Yeah. I'll comment to him later, much later. Anyway, sir, wrap up this show. It's been amazing. Thank you so much, profiteers out there. I truly mean it. I love you from the bottom of my heart. The one thing I should say before we wrap it up, and Pat will go on to it too. We have a few people that DM us privately. I don't talk about them a lot. I just mention that it happens so that you guys know you can reach out to us. So I'm I'm not a professional life coach, but I'm that guy. So if you have questions about keto, you have questions about diet, running, maybe mental health, because I do have ideas in that space. I also know about autism. Message me. I will always message back. We're not so big that I won't message back. It's me messaging back. And I will try my best to help you. There have been a few people that have DM'd me. We've had long conversations. We're still talking today. And it's turned into friendships kind of instead of, me just helping them. I think it's fabulous. If you need help, come help us. Pat has had the same thing with the financial stuff.
Well, 100%. And that's, until I can program one of these Sintra.ai bots to respond to all of the crazy messages I get. But I'm only kidding. We do have a project that we're working on with Sintra AI that we're going to be showcasing here the next little while here. Amazing AI technology. If you're a business owner, if you're not a business owner, if you're a person that wants to just streamline your time, this is a project that we're working on. Very unique stuff. But like James said, we're always here. We're always looking to help. We're just those guys, right? This was supposed to be about a 25-minute show tonight. We figured we just kind of pop on and do kind of a congratulations, like really kind of just, jerk each other off a little bit, like 250,000. That's kind of neat. And here we are 54 minutes in and, well, I'm exhausted. I don't know about you. My arms are just so tired. So
I like you there.
Right. Here we are. Folks, profiteers out there, we love you. We appreciate every one of you. We appreciate every one of you sticking through here at the 54-minute mark. Please help us.